And another big thing was we had sales. So
No.
back in 2018, 2019, we might have had lifetime sales of $250,000.
Okay.
And now when I pitched, we had 7.5 million.
Oh my
And
God, that's like exponential, exaggerated exponential
yeah,
growth. So,
yeah. And I'll
wow.
tell you this, I use ChatGPT. I use
Oh,
I used ChatGPT. I said, look, I gave them the whole story of the business. So I had a good idea of what to value the company at. And
hmm.
then it asked me the question,
Hmm.
would you like to role play? I could
Oh,
be ChatGPT. I could be one of the sharks if
okay.
you answer. So he started off as Mr. Wonderful, asking me questions, then to Mark Cuban, then to Robert. And I just was able to continually go through this practice and routine. And I knew the questions that were going to be coming to me, and I was going to be
Okay.
able to answer them with confidence. So now I'm going out to these tailgates. I'll see one. I'll
Huh.
see two of them out there.
Okay.
Now, when I go, I'll see 10, I'll see 15. And I'm like, what? So before I even get there, people have bought my game, they brought it to the tailgate, and they're playing. And there's more and more people that say, like my friends, they'll see it out there and they'll say, hey, my buddy invented it. Your buddy invented this? Or I put a post on Facebook to my alma mater, Rutgers University, saying, hey,
Okay.
watch the show Shark Tank. And they're like, oh my God, you're the guy who invented this? I had this game. I
Oh
love it.
my
So when
God.
I hear that, it's great. Like you get goosebumps. I get goosebumps when I
Oh.
want to go on Shark Tank. My
Hmm.
number one piece of advice,
Hmm.
and this was given to me, was be passionate about your product because if you are not, nobody else will.
So, how has your experience been? Like, let me tell you that your project, the way you pitched it, it's one of the most unique ideas I've come across to come up with an outdoor like gaming option, something like this, an outdoor sport, and it's something so fresh because now that you think about it, you might really not come across like could there be a new sport that can come into being now? But you came up
Sure,
with an idea like this, so like just like let us know like how did this idea even emerge in the first place for you that something like
sure.
this could even come into being.
So it happened when I was about 9 years old, me and my brother. So the game started out a long time ago.
Mm.
My brother and I, we wanted to play football, but all of our friends were away celebrating Thanksgiving at the time. So we invented the game using two garbage cans and the CB antennas on the back of my dad's pickup truck, and that's how we invented it.
Oh, I mean that's very unique for to invent an outdoor sport, a game with something so minimal like a garbage can that you just
Hmm.
mentioned, and that too with just your brother. And you envisioned the idea when you were 9 years old. So how did it feel like when after finally, I think it's been 10 years for the venture till now, right?
Yeah, close to it. We started
Huh.
selling in
2016, I
2016.
suppose. Yeah. So for
16, yeah.
after 10 years of having started your, QB54, and it's this year that you happen to star in Shark Tank. So how was
Right.
that experience? Like, how did you even land up on Shark Tank?
I mean, it's a grind, it's a hustle, it's blood, it's sweat, it's tears, it's everything that you've heard from every other entrepreneur. Look, it's a labor of love. I see this as it's my dream, it's my passion, and I got the support of my family behind me, which
Hmm.
has been crucial to the success. And it's believing in yourself, it's believing in the product, and it's just going out every day, doing whatever you can to move the business downfield. And how did I end up on Shark Tank? So I applied in 2018 and 2019, and I did it online, didn't do it in person. And you submit a audition tape. They love the tape, they love the energy, they love the product. But for whatever reason, maybe it was the timing, of our business that they didn't, get us, select us for the show.
Hmm.
And then 20 this year in April, I found out that they were doing auditions in Philly. My wife found out in
Okay.
Philadelphia. And
Hmm.
I'm like, you know what? I never did it in person before, so let me try do it in person. So I
Oh.
went there, and there was a benefit because I was able to show the passion live
Hmm.
and show the product live. And one of the casting directors remembered me from 2018 and 2019,
Oh,
and
that's good.
they were very impressed with where we're at with the business and my ability to pitch, I guess. So they put me on.
That's really good to know. So, since you had applied in 2018 already, was there a different strategy that you adopted this time to make sure that you come across with such a good pitch and you're able to impress the entrepreneurs there?
I think so 2018, 2019, that was what,
It's
7
almost been
years
like
ago?
7 years ago. So, what different
Yeah.
strategy did you build in the 7 years?
So I'll tell you this, I became more polished
Hmm.
about my business, knew the
Hmm.
numbers, knew what the customer was interested in. And the more you do something,
Hmm.
the better you get. So
Hmm.
that's 7 extra years of me going to stadiums across the
Hmm.
country, selling, demoing, pitching.
Hmm.
It becomes second nature. Look, I mean, if you gave me a product like an iPhone to sell,
Hmm.
and I had no idea what the iPhone was, and you're like, go pitch, I wouldn't feel as confident. Now, if I'm using this iPhone for 9 years, that's a different story. I know the product inside and out. It's my life. So it just becomes second nature.
Hmm.
It's like you telling a story from your childhood that you know vividly and you knew every single detail, and you can convey that message or that story to the person you're listening to make it interesting. And another big thing was we had sales. So
Oh,
back in 2018, 2019, we might have had lifetime sales of $250,000.
okay.
And now when I pitched, we had 7.5 million.
Oh my
And
God, that's like exponential, exaggerated exponential
yeah,
growth.
yeah.
That's
And we got into Dick's Sporting Goods, which is a
hmm.
the largest
Hmm. Yeah,
retail sporting goods store in the United States.
that
So we got in over 200 stores there. So that was impressive to them. So
that's
they love the
definitely
energy, they
impressive.
love the product, they love my personality, and now I had the last missing piece of the puzzle, which is the sales. And if any of your listeners are looking to go, or YouTubers or whatever, want to go on Shark Tank, my
Hmm.
number one piece of advice,
Hmm.
and this was given to me, was be passionate about your product, because if you are not, nobody else will.
That's what I noticed when I came across your pitching also. We also had the NFL Hall of Fame there for you. And was that a surprise for you, his
Oh,
presence?
Michael Strahan?
Yes.
So Michael Strahan, celebrity, obviously, he's a host on GMA, Good Morning America, which is one of the biggest morning shows in America. He's on, he's an NFL, which is the professional football league
Football league.
for American football. He's a commentator,
Hmm.
so he's an analyst. He's a talk show host. He's an ex NFL New York Giant, Hall of Fame, Super Bowl winner. So I mean, when I saw him, I was like, I knew a couple of weeks beforehand because they tell you who the
Okay.
Sharks are going to pitch,
Hmm.
and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be amazing. And the cool thing is, or the ironic thing is, I live about an hour from Giant Stadium, or
Oh my
MetLife, where
God,
the
that's
Giants
good.
play. So I'm there every game in the parking lot selling the game down to all Giants fans. And now I'm pitching the ultimate Giant. So imagine this. Imagine you have your family, your
Hmm.
house, your business, everything on the line,
Okay.
and you have one opportunity, just like in the Eminem song, to go for it and crush it. And 2 minutes before I walk on that stage to pitch, my entire mind goes completely blank.
Fine. Okay. That must
I'm
have been
scared out of my
challenging.
mind. Doors open, boom, go right into the pitch. It's like nothing ever happened. So, I mean, you saw the episode. I think I pitched well.
You did.
Unfortunately,
It didn't seem
I
you
didn't
were
get any yell.
nervous, and just the way you explained your passion for your product evidently came across to everyone you were trying to explain, everyone you were trying to engage in this sport. That was very good to look at. So
Thank
now
you.
that there were so many things out there on stake that you just mentioned, your family, your finances, this was your second attempt at Shark Tank. So like, how did you keep yourself confident despite, all of these obstacles I have to call? Then how did you overcome your nervousness and still so confidently make sure that your pitch comes across in the best possible way?
I guess it comes into it's a great question. And looking back on that
Hmm.
experience, I'm like nuts to do it, because it's a high pressure situation. Like I said, you have everything on the line. And
Hmm.
I think I just prepared myself going over the pitch over and over again, knowing my numbers over and over again. And I'll
True.
tell you this, I used ChatGPT. I used
Oh.
I used ChatGPT. I said, look, I gave him the whole story of the business. all the opportunity, all the sales, and I said, what should I value my business at? Nobody know. I mean, like
Hmm.
there's formulas here, there's formulas there. Oh, my business is worth $100 million. No, it's not.
Hmm.
My business is worth 50,000. No, it's not. It's worth more. So ChatGPT, I put all this information in,
Hmm.
and it gave me a realistic range.
Hmm.
And it said, look, you can start here. Here's the low end. Here's the high end. If you want to go towards the high end, you can accentuate, Dick's Sporting Goods. You can accentuate all your sales, yada yada yada. So I had a good idea of what to value the company at. And
Hmm.
then it asked me the question,
Hmm.
would you like to role play? I could
Oh,
be ChatGPT. I could be one of the sharks.
okay.
You answer. So he started off as Mr. Wonderful, asking me questions, then to Mark Cuban, then to Robert. And I just was able to continually go through this practice and routine. And I knew the questions that were going to be coming to me, and I was going to be
Okay.
able to answer them with confidence. So it's all about preparation, practice, and just knowing your business inside and out. And I think once you have that, you'll have the confidence and you'll be able, look, I don't know many professional athletes.
Hmm.
I'm not a huge sports guy where, I don't know, I know you guys are playing cricket, right? And
Yeah.
so take the most famous cricket player there is out there, right? Who is it? Do you know who the most
Virat
popular?
Kohli. It's
Huh?
Virat Kohli.
Okay, so that person, right? People would be like in awe, like, "Oh my God, it's so and so," and I'd be like, "Okay, I don't know who you are. You put your pants on one leg at a time. You're just like me. You just maybe have a little bit more
Okay.
money and you're good at cricket. But this is
That's
me." So my point is, I don't know. People get lost in the being starstruck or
hmm.
whatever. But at the end
Yeah.
of the day, that individual that's sitting across the table from
Hmm.
you started from the same place everybody
Hmm.
else did. They worked hard, they were confident, and they just went for it. So I try to have that same confidence, not cocky, but
Hmm.
confidence when you're going into these meetings. And with Shark Tank, what they don't tell you and what you don't see is these sharks are asking questions on top of each other, and you just have to take control of the meeting and basically say, "All right, can you guys give me 1 second? I want to answer Barbara's
Hmm.
question first, then I
Okay.
can get to you." And blah 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 blah. So it's about taking control of the meeting and doing the best you can. I fought for my life out there, and what you don't see is I was up there for about 45 minutes, going back
Okay.
and forth, but it's only edited down to 7, 8
Hmm.
minutes.
That's the thing. Okay. And even though the outcome maybe did not come across as you would have
Right.
expected because the
Mhm.
investments did not pour in. So, what were the more valuable inputs that you took along with yourself after your pitch with the Shark Tank entrepreneurs?
So they gave me some information and some advice on
Hmm.
marketing,
Hmm.
spent a lot of money on marketing. And that was one
Hmm.
of the big things that was a red flag for them. So I
Okay.
took that to heart and,
Hmm.
I'm making some changes and we're bearing
Hmm.
some fruit on those changes. So to me, obviously I wanted to get a deal.
Hmm.
It's
That's true.
like I said, walking out of the tank, it felt like I got hit in the stomach. I was pretty upset afterwards, to the point where I'm walking up and down the beach in California thinking to myself, I'm a failure.
No. Okay.
But it's a natural feeling. And when you get past that natural feeling
Hmm.
and you're like, wait a second, there was 30,000 people that applied to get on this show.
And you one
Only,
of them.
only 100 get on
Gotta.
that air, and I'm one of them.
Okay,
So that was a
that's backfire.
huge accomplishment for
That's
me.
true.
And I needed to take a step back and just appreciate that. And my family, again, super supportive.
Hmm.
Friends
Super
were super
supportive.
supportive. And yeah, I don't know. You just got to keep moving forward. That's what business
That
is.
that's very insightful, like despite maybe the results not being as you had expected, but you did not feel demotivated after it, and that's really
Yeah.
impressive. So, how do you plan to scale QB54 now that your Shark Tank, it's been like almost a decade when this venture has started. What
Yeah.
more do you plan? Like, how are you planning to accelerate the scaling of your business
I
from
mean, look, I'm getting, people are reaching out to me now being on the
here?
show.
Okay.
Companies here,
You have a
companies
pretty
there.
wide reach on Instagram. It's like 30K followers and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I got about 30, 37 or 35.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know.
more
I
than
think
that,
it's like
yes.
37.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, it's about putting out content,
Hmm.
decent content, something that's entertaining. Because at the end of the day, people need to see my
Hmm.
game. They need to, and if you can't see, I'm sorry, they need to play the game. If you
Hmm.
can't play it, You need
Hmm.
to see it in action,
Hmm.
and that's where I use social media.
Hmm.
And coming into Christmas season, it's a big, big season for us. So the more content I have out there, the more I can get the message out there. And the fact that we were on Shark Tank adds a huge level of credibility to the business where, there's so much noise
Hmm.
out there, whether on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, wherever.
Hmm.
There's scams out there. So it's hard to get that trust factor.
Hmm.
But now that we're on Shark Tank, that brings you to the head of the class as far as trust is concerned. So I'm really excited about that and see how it takes off for Christmas.
So, has your customer reach or the people who have come to associate with your product, changed significantly after your appearance with this Shark Tank? Do you have
Ha-
people
ha-
recognizing your product more frequently?
So, as I said before, we started in 2016
Hmm.
and 9 years. So, a good barometer of that is I would go out to these different stadiums in New
Hmm.
York, Cleveland, Ohio,
Hmm.
different states. I wouldn't see my game anywhere. That would,
Okay.
so then fast forward maybe 5 years, 6 years. Now I'm going out to these tailgates. I'll see one. I'll
Hmm.
see two of them out there.
Okay.
Now, when I go, I'll see 10, I'll see 15. And I'm like, what? So before I even get there, people have bought my game, they brought it to the tailgate, and they're playing it. So you can see we sold over 50,000 units so
Hmm.
far. So I'm starting to see it more prevalent in these areas where people would play, like tailgates, the beach, the backyard, that type of thing. And there's more and more people that say, like my friends, they'll see it out there and they'll say, "Hey, my buddy invented it. Your buddy invented this?" Or I put a post on Facebook to my alma mater, Rutgers University, saying, "Hey,
Okay.
watch the show Shark Tank," and you're like, "Oh my God, you're the guy who invented this? I have this game. I
Oh
love."
my
So
God.
when I hear that, it's great. Like you get goosebumps. I get goosebumps when I
Oh
hear
yeah,
it. So
definitely. Like your alma mater coming across is outdoor sport activity and figuring out that it's you who discovered it. I mean, you who is the one who is the founder. That must feel great. So, what's the major
yeah,
audience for QB54? Is it like mostly the teenagers or the middle-aged people? Like, do
sure.
you have a diverse audience? Is it like dependent on the certain demography? What is it like? I would like to know about that.
Anybody that
Hmm.
enjoys being outside, playing
Okay.
a game, being competitive. I have kids that are 7 to 10 years old that want it for
Okay.
Christmas. I have
Hmm.
kids that are in high school that are playing, and you don't have to play football to
Hmm.
enjoy this game. It's
True.
actually a non-threatening way to be introduced to the sport of football because when you see it on TV, it's
Hmm.
pretty violent, right?
Yeah,
You
it's
see
very
people getting
competitive
tackled
also.
and getting hurt. But in my game, there's none of that. There's all aspects of football, no concussions, no injuries, none of that. It's the meat of the game, the safe part of the game, and it gets people interested in football. So I have grandparents
Okay.
buying this for their grandkids. I have
Okay.
grandparents wanting to play with their grandkids so they can bond. I've got parents, I've got recent college grads,
Hmm.
everybody. What I say is this, get your kids off the phone.
Yeah.
Get them outside, get them engaged, fresh air, exercise, low tech, get outside and have fun again. And in this, I don't know how it is in India, but in our country, there's a lot of division going on. And it's
Hmm.
probably done by on
Yeah.
purpose from political, right? So you have the right, you have the left. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. Put your differences aside,
And
get the
come together
game,
and
go
play.
outside, have some fun, and bring people together. That's what the game is about. That's why I invented it.
That's really lovely because most of the time if you come across a game, if it's an outdoor sport, the main motive is competition. It has to be very a competitive sport. The fun somewhere takes a backstage, and that is what makes the reason I don't like sport is because what if I don't get competitive enough and win? I don't like to lose. So the fun
Right?
element just goes away in it. But I think QB54 is re-evolving and it's bringing back the fun element that the sports always had. It's such a fantastic game to play on a picnic. Like instead of just people
Yep.
wandering around and
Yes.
being on their phone, they can just get your game and play as much as they like and not get injured. Very important point that you have mentioned.
Right.
That's really good to know. So, what like are you looking forward to expanding your business? Are you getting to invest into more new novel ideas of outdoor sport? Is there
So
anything new
yes.
coming up?
So I need to get more capital.
Hmm.
Hopefully after the Christmas season and develop what I call add-on parts of the game.
Okay,
So
okay,
we have football. You can play golf with it. You can
okay.
play soccer with it. You can play basketball with it.
Hmm.
So each one of those sports you can add on. So you have this chair game system that you can play football with it. You can play golf. You can play basketball, soccer. So there's all these possibilities of expanding the business. It basically comes down to money and being
Oh,
able to fund and support it.
okay, that's really good to know. So, like, what has been the biggest hardship that you have overcome while you were venturing into the project, while you were seeking capital, or while you were figuring out the design of the product? Because to figure out a chair where you can use it to make an outdoor sport, that's a very creative idea. So, how, like, what was the major challenge that you faced while?
I would say, COVID was a very
Oh,
difficult
okay, yeah,
time for us. It
definitely.
was good with sales,
Hmm.
okay? But then the dynamic of the global market
Hmm.
changed, and
It did.
containers used to cost, so the shipping containers,
Hmm.
so we get them manufactured in China,
Okay.
and those shipping containers before COVID, maybe 2,500 or 3,000 US dollars, and then it shot up to $25,000 per
Oh my
container.
God, that's
And that was a very big issue for us.
hmm.
And it put me into debt quite a
Oh
bit.
my
So
God.
I had to crawl out of that debt. I had to crawl out of it by selling units and yeah, making profit and just chugging along and growing the business. And that was the hardest part, I would say.
Okay, I mean, truly, like if the cost goes exponentially high, it definitely puts a lot of burden on the founders. So, what is
Oh
your
yeah.
advice to the upcoming new generation of entrepreneurs who are very skeptical about their idea? Because your idea is rather unusual. Like you
Mhm.
every day do not come across people who are coming up with an outdoor sport project. So, if there's an entrepreneur, if they're young and they are very skeptical because it involves money, it involves time, you can end up in debt and a lot of things get in line. So how, like, what is your advice to them?
So the younger gener now I feel old. The younger generation, they're used to Amazon
Hmm.
ruined everything, and I'll tell you why.
Wow.
Their Amazon Prime, you buy something at 9 o'clock in the morning, at least in the States, you can get it the same day at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody expects that level of
Service.
service and promptness and speed and
Hmm.
everything, right? So you have your phone.
Hmm.
You can get answers like that. You have so much information at your fingertips, right? So go back in your time machine when I was a kid, when we invented this game, when you ordered something, sometimes it took 6 to 8 weeks for
Oh yeah.
delivery. Okay, that's a lifetime now. Now, I'm not saying we need to go back to that. The point I'm trying to make is this. When you're building a business, it takes
Time.
time. It's not going to come at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when you order it at 9. You're not going to get that answer instantaneous here. You have to put the time, the energy, and you have to have patience and you have to believe in yourself and have that passion. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a lot of money.
Hmm.
But my suggestion is this, you create something, test the market first and then see if the market wants to buy it. Don't go all in with your cash, not knowing whether or not your product's going to be received well by the market. Prove the market, see that you have a business, and then once you're able to tell that the market wants to buy this, then you scale and you put more money into it, and then you buy more product to sell. That would be my main piece of advice. Take your time, it's not going to happen overnight, and test the market, go inch by inch before you go all in. Because once you go all in, it doesn't work. The buck stops with you, and then you got to figure it out. And it's a tough situation to
Hmm.
be in.
Okay, so that was very fruitful, like you telling people that they should be aware of what market they're venturing into, what's the sale, what's the demand for the product, so that their resources could be saved. And Michael, it's been such an insightful conversation that I've had with you,
Sure.
and your Instagram page is very happening. Looking forward to
Thank you.
more new reels coming up, and all the very best to you for, and looking forward to your new ventures as well. Like, let me, the golf thing that you're trying to introduce
Sure.
and other things. That's been really nice to
Well,
talk
I
to you.
appreciate the opportunity.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a nice day.
All right, you guys take care.